Hi there and welcome everyone. It's Lavender Sky Panther. It's October 10th, 2023 at 10:10:23, and I'm here with you to do a little card reading today. This is going to be called something like Jumbo Gems Do-Over. I did post a reading yesterday, but after many hours, I saw that it was still showing 4 likes and 1 view, so I thought that was pretty interesting math. So I thought, you know what, it's probably not circulating, and something anyway just told me, you know what, let's just take it down. So if you did catch it and like it, thank you so much. Hopefully you'll like this do-over equally as well, equal or better. It's going to be at a quicker, faster clip this time around. I'm just feeling just to look at 2 cards. Maybe we'll draw a bonus one too. All right, for now, we have 3 groups. Like I always say, feel free to pick 1, 2, or 3, or up to all 3, however you like. On the left-hand side is group 1, and these are jumbo plastic gems, so that's representing like a diamond or a pure crystal. Group 2 is in the middle with that turquoise color, and 3 is purple, that purple color. Okay, so let's get into it. Group 1, here's your group, and we're going to start with the card behind it first, and then we'll flip the other card over. So right now we've got this beautiful white lotus, if it'll focus, okay, with like a pinkish tinged points on it on the edge of the petals, and it's floating in space, well, floating in the sky, in a beautiful blue sky. Below it sits what almost looks like a ghost city. It almost looks like the stuff of legends and like a phantom-like city. It's there, it's not there, maybe like kind of like an oasis, a mirage effect, you know. And it's interesting because we've got like these white lotus then down on the ground, which do not have the pinkish color in them. They're more pure. And again, it's kind of like one of those things that we're looking at a ghost-like scene, or, you know, is it really there? Is it not? The pathways on the sides actually remind me of like tracks etched into the ground. Like if you look at some of the images of Stonehenge, I forget which orientation on which side of it, of the circle, you see these big tracks kind of like etched in the ground in certain views, especially with snowfall on that site. It kind of reminds me of that. But anyway, the point is, the message here is number 7, embrace stillness. So, you know, these really kind of oversized, really large, exaggerated large lotus are absolutely still, right? To the point that they're not even sitting on the typical where you'd see it on a pond or water. They're on land. They're firm, right? So we know they're not moving. We don't get the impression that there's much of a breeze because it looks like this other lotus, giant mega lotus, is also just suspended in the air, right? So it has a very dream-like quality. Like, you know, this one seems very real and tactile, but yet we know it isn't by its size and what it's doing in the sky. So anyway, we get back to embrace stillness. Now, of course, there are many ways to go about that, and maybe this is just an invitation to you to kind of figure out how you can get still in your day. Now, you don't have to sit in the quote-unquote lotus position and meditate in that way. I never do. That's never been something that clicks with me. I'm somebody who can get totally still walking through nature, you know, walking through a park or in some kind of forest or hills or wherever you want, just out in nature on a beach, just to kind of connect in, but while I'm doing the activity of walking, so you don't have to necessarily be sedentary yourself like these lotus. But anyway, maybe contemplate many different ways that you can just get still and connect in. And I think, you know, that's about all that card is going to yield right now. Also, yeah, you might want to, this is a blue sky by daytime. You might want to get still as you maybe observe the stars. Maybe go outside at night, look up at the moon. You don't have to have binoculars or any equipment. Just look with your naked eye and look into that vast, you know, infinite sky. Hopefully it looks infinite and you can even see stars. It's not too hazy or anything. Like in the middle of this card looks pretty hazy, but even if it is hazy, just get lost in looking up and you might be amazed at what you might see either in the sky or around you. A lot of people are catching some really weird phenomenon lately, and you can see that in other Earth and Sky watching channels, proof of that. And I can tell you that every time that I go out, especially if I'm with a neighbor, there's a neighbor of mine that I know has kind of that magnet to attract interesting phenomenon and craft and other things at night. And so it tends to be that whenever we're both out watching, just I see some very extraordinary stuff. So you might want to do that too. Go out, maybe not just be alone, but try to find a neighbor, or it doesn't have to be a tight friend, just some acquaintance or somebody who can appreciate, you know, being out in nature as well if you're going to do some like nighttime activity. Anyway, those are just certain thoughts. And it's interesting that this jumbo gem happens to be clear and faceted because it actually, also reminds me of something. Hang on one second. Sorry, just kind of sitting there sedentary like that lotus. All right, now we're going to pull this other card here, turn it over as a companion card to this one. So we have, like I said, 7, embrace stillness. And now we have, what do you desire? I'm going to go back up to the picture first. So we see this beautiful angel. Her wings are kind of, look like they could be even almost icicles or crystals formed there on her back. And we see these beautiful wands or stems, wands of flowers, in front of her. Just a really beautiful scene. Tons of brightly colored flowers, very, just it just stirs the imagination, I think, when you see a collection of beautiful colors like that. And her shawl also has, a lot of beautiful colors, like she's just blending in with this floral scene. So what do you desire? The message here is, you now have the opportunity to write the script according to your heart's true desires. Once you clearly decide upon your true desires and know that you are ready and deserving of them, they'll rush into your life as if by magic. So I think that, message is pretty clear on its own. And I think these are perfect companion cards to each other because we start off with, just kind of a white palette, overall white palette on these colors when it's asking you just to embrace the stillness, get to the purity of the core of what you're experiencing, and let, just the purest messages come to you. And then once that happens, then you might be able to open up and embrace this colorful, imaginative, creative process and bring all the colors, that we know, into that experience. And still at the core of this card too is this kind of crystalline, crystal-like energy. And again, just reminds me that, hang on, sorry about that. Again, that it's no mistake that we got this, kind of jumbo gem. It matches to me, that crystal. So there's purity, no matter what you do when you're in stillness and things come to you, if you put out good intention and are asking for guidance, the core of what you're asking for is going to be very pure. And that'll be, just like a nice kind of touchstone or anchor stone to ground you for whatever else you're going to create, and think of in your imagination, very colorfully so. Okay, that's it for group 1. Now we're going to move on to group 2. Hi, group 2, and you have this jumbo gem that's plastic, but it's turquoise in color. And let's see if that has any meaning or significance with your cards. So we're going to have 2 cards. We're going to start off with this one, and then we'll get to the next one. So this is a very beautiful card. Lots of nice violets and plum colors, and we have this beautiful woman in a beautiful garb, just, immersed in all of these flowers, playing it looks like a type of violin. I'm sure there's a better, more appropriate name for that. And maybe some of you out there might know what that is and can go ahead and let me know in the description, in the comment section. But anyway, she's in a field of gorgeous flowers. And the message here is number 16, which can also be a number 7, create. So, as we can see, all of these gorgeous flowers, that's creation itself. Look how many different varieties and colors. And also, I just get a very strong fashion design vibe off of this. Like she's just picture perfect and very poetic there. And it seems like creating could very much mean not only the beautiful music, presumably coming from there, but also like, it is a creation in itself, how you adorn yourself and how she's not only selected whatever gown that she has on, but also the accessories into the details of whatever flowers are adorning her hair, her bracelets and such. Anyway, this might just be an invitation to maybe, play with fashion a little bit more and maybe play around with colors and different things you might not normally dress up in yourself as a part of the very intensive and heavy creative process. Also, maybe play around with flowers. Put a flower in your hair. Go get fresh flowers. Group 1 was also very flower intensive. And I meant to bring up too that, it's good to bring it up on group 2. Looking at the yellow flowers there, you know what? I was asking for some positive reinforcement or a sign. I just had a lot of negative and dark energies coming at me from all sides, starting last night. Things that were like, I'm looking at the dark, picture in the back, the silhouette of these temples or whatnot. I had very dark energy coming in. I don't know if this struck any of you out there, but it was really trying to hit me in all the ways that count in my life, like specific family members I care about, financial situation. It was like attacking all sides nonstop since last night. And you know what? I just said, okay, bring it. You think you're going to break me or bring me down? No, you're not. I have an infinite patience. Okay, keep going. You want to keep trying? You want to keep trying? Go for it, because I am the light. Like she's that light figure in the darkness, in the back. Bring it, because I'm going to wait you and out create you. So that might be a message for somebody. If any kind of darkness is trying to creep into your life, put it literally behind you like she is, and get immersed in whatever brings you joy, and just tune out literally, all of that darkness, and it will just, see it has nothing to put its little hooks and talons into, and it will fade away, right? As you focus on the beauty before you and the infinite magic that you can create from within. Okay, now let's see with the companion card. I'll just call it that I pulled a second card. And this one, look at this beautiful synchronicity here. We've got an angel, angelic form, and a field of flowers. And now this has a little bit more of an upbeat feel. She doesn't have, absolute darkness behind her. It seems more in the heavenly realms. But she has a kind of a little bit of an apprehensive look on her face. Let's see, and the way her body's kind of slumped, it's not so confident. But let's see what this says. It says ground yourself. When you detach from awareness of your body and the physical world, you become ungrounded. Although it's pleasant to float heavenward, your attention and work are needed upon the earth. We're helping you balance the spiritual and material so that you can enjoy a fulfilling earthly life. And you know what that does look like? Looking at her posture, looks very unsettled. So, despite all appearances, we've got beautiful flowers. She's in a beautiful gown. The overall message is, yeah, there's a little bit of unsettledness there and uncertainty, and the call for grounding. So maybe you're, feeling like this angel, maybe a little out of sorts. Am I here? Am I there? Do I have a foot in the 3D? Do I have a foot in the 5D? I don't know about you, but I'm feeling more and more at times like, where am I? As far as like, what realm have I been dropped into? What timeline am I on? Am I really here? Sometimes we do have those thoughts when we contemplate all of these spiritual things and are getting more and more in touch with our inner spirit, which is moving heavenward. Absolutely. But we are here for right now for a reason. And so I did actually go out myself and go ground and go, especially if you can stand on the earth itself, Gaia, Mother Nature, however you want to call it, the, earthly mother, and with your, shoes off preferably, but if you can't, just at least get into the grass, get off of the asphalt or other man-made materials like concrete. Find a patch of grass, dirt, sand, whatever you can do, or even like a creek or water, just mud, whatever you can do to get, grounded into the earth. And I know we talk about that time and time again, but it is so important to ground yourself, especially if you feel like you've gotten a little bit too much on the spiritual track or immersing yourself, not too much, but you know what I mean, intensively. Okay. So anyway, as far as the turquoise, it's funny, we had synchronicity also with the gem and the jumbo gem in the first group. This is kind of, going along. It might not appear it, but it's she's got a pretty vibrant turquoise gown on. So anyway, it just all flows and goes together. All right, so now we're going to move on to group 3. All right, group 3, let's see what your messages are. You have the beautiful purple plastic jumbo gem, and it's got nice sparkles and facets for what it is. Of course, I like the natural stones better, but for now it just seemed to fit with this reading. We're going to look at this other purple card in a minute. So your main message, we're going to start off with first. We have a tower, and we have atop the tower, it looks like a rooftop kind of hangout. We have this maiden. It looks like a woman there in the window. She's looking down, and it is quite a ways down. So actually, the message is number 45 or 9. Listen. Now, what's interesting is the tower itself reminds me almost of like it's like truncated at the top, cut off. Like if it kept going, it almost looks to me like it's a point, like a crystal point or generator, when the crystals are in that form. And it looks like it has facets and all of that. That's just what it's reminding me of. But anyway, here she is, it says listen. So she's way far up, and it just reminds me that if you were in the, kind of modern world here in a condo or an apartment building, high rise, things sound very different, obviously, if she were standing under these trees on street level versus what she hears way up above. So it very much depends on where you are at of what you're even going to hear. So kind of like group 1, I'm just going to go back there for a second. The message was, embrace stillness. And I think that kind of relates to this third one, because you got to embrace stillness to really listen, right? And how many times I'm horribly guilty of this, just to be fun, tongue in cheek, not guilty, but you know what I mean. I tend to talk a lot and maybe not listen enough. And so for me, this is a definite message to maybe find that balance of listening more, talking less, or get that nice balance between the two. But of course, there are times to really talk and really listen. So find that balance for yourself as well if you feel you need it. There's absolutely right places for both. And, we see her kind of looking down on the trees and stuff. It also might be a good idea, kind of like, group number two's message. It's create, but also like grounding yourself in nature. It just reminds me that she might be a little out of touch to really hear stuff, and might want to get down into nature to hear different things and hear it in a different way. But by the same token, it's also good to be up a little bit more physically lofty, and maybe from that altitude, she can connect in better heavenward. So, anyway, I think the message is fine where it sits and feels right to you to just really connect in and listen. For some people, it might be, not to be crude, but when you're in the restroom, that might be the only time that you have quiet and can really listen and tune in. And you don't have to be doing your business. You can be just sitting atop like a toilet. You don't have to be actually using it. But just use that time, or while you're showering, and have the water, with you as well. And just let that sound kind of wash all the other noise out, and maybe allow you to really listen and connect in. Okay, that's all I'm getting for that for right now. So let's look at what I'm calling the companion card. And we're going to look, and we have this angel card. She looks a little, I don't know, maybe she's kind of like in a daze, kind of in that soft-eyed meditation fuzz out, just kind of listening in. She's holding her heart area. And let's see what the message here is. Let your past go. The burden of carting your past around has made you weary, dear one. It's time to set this burden down. Keep only the lessons and the love, and leave everything else behind. You don't want it or need it, and now it's gone. So that is a good message. Let your past go. It's not always easy to do it. And sometimes you think you really have done it, and have done it time and time again. And you wake up one morning and find out, oh, here we go. Why are these feelings bubbling up to the surface again, right? So don't beat up on yourself if you think you've let everything go and it still comes back. It's quite a process. It's quite an emotional process. We've got the blue colors in the background alluding to water and emotions. It's not that simple. And so, but she doesn't look like she's letting any of those emotions to completely overcome her. She's, holding her heart and just trying to tap in. And, it's not fun to do that process, but it looks like she is proactively, dealing with it. And so, what ways, do you find maybe, you might need to let your past go? I talked in actually in the reading that I wiped, just deleted. And this one's called the do-over. I did mention, some people. There was a card in there where a Viking was like burning down that village, and it was like, and he wasn't looking back. He was taking the treasured swords and things out on his way out, and just letting the rest go. So, you know, um, you might not, some people do like to physically burn love letters from the past or whatever if they're bothersome, but I don't like the notion of using fire just because it can get out of control. But, some people maybe like, tear it up and throw it into the water, or, bury something that they, write down or journal down, and exit out, bury it in the sand. There's all kinds of ways to physically let stuff go. Obviously, declutter and get rid of any items periodically that just have a negative energy, or an energy you don't like, or if it's an energy you really can't let go of. Maybe just, try every so often to give it away to someone who might be able to use it. Or if you just can't, maybe just toss it, in trash, and don't look back. And then, move on from there. So I think it's just a call to revisit. Is there anything you can let go? And don't beat up on yourself if something comes back around. Now, like the other piles, it's funny. I was just seeing if the jumbo gem colors seem to fit, with the character of the cards. And in this one, not so much. I mean, yes, it's a version of like the blue in the background, right? The purple, made up of red and blue, right? But I think it's just, purple we talk about in chakras is more toward the crown chakra. throat, is the blue, and like her golden areas, like the solar plexus. So it's definitely the blue and the gold are about in the feels and the different ways. And expressing with the blue. Here it's like an internal expression, I think, not so much of an outward one. So anyway, I think the goal would be to get toward the purple, the crown chakra, where everything can be truly let go and purged, and then so that we can arrive at that color. But anyway, that's all I have for now. I hope everybody enjoyed all of their groups. And what I'm going to do, I think I will pick, just because I'm a fan myself of doing like a little, sorry about the camera work here, bonus card. Let me see what deck I have readily available. I thought I did have some like ready to go, and I don't. But let me try this. I'm going to just pick one bonus card this time. And I'm just going to do like a messy, mix of this from the Animal Spirit deck from the Wild Unknown. Okay, so they're just kind of thrown about. Let me do this one. Let's see what we have. Oh, okay, we have the hawk. All right. So let me just see if I'm getting anything off of this. It's funny, what, for the first time, I'm not really. Other than, I think this might be a call to, maybe you already have hawk as your totem or your animal spirit animal. But maybe I think this is a bit of a challenge. Obviously, the hawk is flying into the light, so it's a very, good vibe on this card. And what I would say, just all I'm getting for this, and pardon if you're looking for any deeper messages, but I think this is a call literally to look up the difference between a hawk, a falcon, an eagle, and there's one more really fast flying bird. And for whatever reason, it's just coming to me to maybe check out the top speeds that they fly at. I know some of them, like I think it's the falcon. I forget who has the fastest speed on the clock, but I know there's a difference when they're just flying horizontal or upward or diving down, like dive bombing, I think is when they get their fastest velocities. So this one just kind of seems to be gliding and searching for something below. But for whatever reason, I'm just getting like a little fun challenge you might want to look at. What are the top speed? What's the fastest bird of prey? Like between the hawk, eagle, and the falcon. There's another one that begins with a P, a pair something. Forgive me, but someone out there, I bet you know what that is. All right. Well, anyway, that's it for now. And I wish you all, as always, tremendous peace and love and a beautiful right now. Lavender Sky Panther. Bye.